what did we think of Christian Bale's Melvin Purvis? Because I don't think, and I read a review online on rogerebert.com, and they were talking about how really Christian Bale, his character's kind of nothingy, and to be fair to Christian Bale, he doesn't really have much to do in this film. He is very much like an important character, but he doesn't really have any moments to shine in this film, I don't think.
I think, though, that is because I agree with you. I would say that this is like the film with the most nothingness that I've ever had from Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And actually, when I mentioned, so having not seen the film, a friend of mine, when I mentioned that we were doing this film this week, said, and I was like, well, Johnny Depp's the gangster and Christian Bale is the cop. And they're like, oh, he's going to be a dirty cop, isn't he? He's going to be a corrupted cop. And like, that is what you would think. But no, it was a fairly vanilla character, not performance. I think he, as usual,
he did what he could with what he was given. Yeah.
But I think that's because more of the emphasis was on the gangsters of the movie. They would, they're the A-list celebrities of their time, as it were. And he was, as a man, he was supposed to kind of fly under the radar, and that's sort of what he did in the movie. I think it's difficult when the emphasis is on the gangster in a gangster movie. It's difficult to give a lot of character to the police that are chasing them, unless there's that scene where the police just break down. Then they're like, I see myself in him, or like, God damn it, will I never catch him? Like that, like, unless there's those moments, you don't get a lot of them. So
yeah.
I think, but they did their best. Like the whole, he, again, like he was being portrayed as being like a gentleman who, like, if he could avoid, hurting people, he would. Like, you could see that he was like sickened every time one of his men was injured, and he called J.E. He was like, call me J.E. He called J.E. and was like, unless you give us more power here, or more permission over interstate lines, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're sending my men to slaughter. He even looks horrified when he killed those poor civilians in the car, which that did happen. 3 of them died, unfortunately.
He looks kind of horrified when Dillinger dies at the end.
I think he was really hoping to take him into arrest, is why. Also, that scene, the post-investigation scene with Marion Cotillard, and she's like, I can't stand up. And he, fireman carries her out.
Yeah.
That was touching. He was, he's set up to be a good guy.
Yeah, I think what was surprising for me is that we didn't get more of him. And I get what you're saying about it being...
I wanted more of him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about, the nature of the film. You're going to focus on Dillinger. But I think Michael Mann probably most famous for directing Heat. And there's that very famous scene where Al Pacino, who is the police lieutenant who is chasing down Robert De Niro, they have that conversation with each other. There's that scene where they, and it's like in The Dark Knight where Christian Bale, Batman, has that interrogation scene with the Joker where they talk to each other about, they sort of get into each other's minds. And I was waiting for that scene. Like, regardless of whether it happened in real life, right? I was waiting for that scene where Dillinger and Purvis have this moment where they talk to each other and they're trying to get into each other's head. And the only point that really happens is the first time is like
in the cell.
And it's not really. It's like too early in the film for it to be one of those big climactic conversation moments,
But I thought that was a nice, like, I think that gave good insight into both of their characters. Like, Christian Bale was being very sort of quiet and collected and observing him, and Johnny Depp was, being very cocky and glib, bloody glib, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was bloody glib. Oh, glib.
Mel Gibson.